The year is 2025 and across America's industrial heartland, a strange silence has fallen. This isn't the peaceful quiet of a Sunday morning, it's the silence of factory floors where machines have stopped and workers have vanished. These places were supposed to be the stage for a great American manufacturing comeback. Instead, they stand as monuments to a promise that backfired. Locked gates, shattered hopes. The policy meant to protect jobs, tariffs, has become the very reason they're disappearing. A 25% tariff on imported automobiles and parts was pitched as a shield for American workers. But building a car is a global puzzle, and making those pieces more expensive turned the puzzle into a nightmare. Companies shelved plans, froze investments, and the roar of new construction never started. The silence is the sound of economic reality hitting political fantasy. Communities that pinned their hopes on revival now face empty warehouses and lost opportunity. They were promised prosperity, but watched their hopes get packed up and shipped out. How did a plan to save American jobs end up doing the opposite? The Rust Belt was meant to be the star of this show, a grand revival for Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania. The 2025 tariffs were supposed to force companies to build factories here, turning rust into chrome, but the revival never showed up. Instead of a boom, $18 billion in planned factory investments were put on ice. That's thousands of jobs and futures canceled before they began. Uncertainty froze business decisions. Companies waited, then walked away. In the Midwest alone, 34,000 jobs vanished as a direct result. The people who were promised the most became the biggest victims. The flaw? Manufacturing today is global, not local. Tariffs isolated the industry, making it more expensive and less competitive. The Rust Belt wasn't reborn, it was reminded how vulnerable it is to empty promises. A tariff is a tax, and taxing auto parts means taxing the final product. The 25% tariff hit every automaker in the US, making everything from transmissions to electronics more expensive. Companies faced a choice: absorb costs or pass them to consumers. Car prices dipped briefly as old inventory sold, but that was a mirage. As new models arrive, prices are set to jump, hurting American families. The tariffs also threw global supply chains into chaos. Delays, paperwork nightmares, and missing parts forced plants to slow or halt production. Why invest billions in a new US factory amid such unpredictability? Businesses need stability, not political whiplash. The tariffs replaced a stable system with a volatile mess. The result, not a surge of investment, but a fearful retreat. The policy meant to help workers ended up hurting everyone. The ultimate irony? A policy meant to bring jobs home is pushing them away. Faced with higher costs and chaos, companies are moving production to Mexico and Canada. There, they find stable trade frameworks and access to global supply chains, without punishing tariffs. Instead of building new plants in Ohio, it now makes more sense to invest abroad. In places like Lordstown and Belvedere, hopes for revival have been dashed. Idle factories and lost jobs are the new reality. The difference isn't American workers or infrastructure, it's policy. Companies aren't unpatriotic, they're making choices to survive. The tariffs created a problem that, for many, can only be solved by leaving. The supposed cure became the poison. If tariffs failed, what's the right answer? Real revitalization needs a long-term, nuanced approach, not blunt force. First, companies need policy predictability, not overnight changes. Second, invest in America's strengths, R&D, workforce training, and advanced technology. Instead of taxing parts, create incentives for innovation and automation on US soil. Embrace global supply chains. Focus on high-value work like design, engineering, and final assembly. Smart trade agreements should streamline, not block, the flow of components. Work with allies to build resilient supply chains, not trade wars. American manufacturing wins by being competitive, not protected. The 2025 tariffs proved there are no shortcuts. The real path forward is smart, consistent investment in America itself.